Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2. So we're still recovering from the attack on the Black Pyramid, but I think we've been presented with an opportunity here. I think Numas has put themselves in a position where we can do a lot of damage to them very quickly, so we're probably just going to pounce on it. Tiktaq'to's army is in perfect health, absolutely ready to rock, and they are within a single turn's movement of this army full of terrible garbage units that's in full march mode, and as such unable to retreat from us. We definitely want to get control of Khemri. We can see that there's another one of their stacks over here. So I think it would be reasonable to assume that Numas probably has 3 armies. For the Khemri, it's a little bit more complicated than it is for other people. They can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna click on the thing here and hire a new lord and make a new army happen. The Khemri have to fulfill certain conditions to expand the number of armies they're allowed to use, and the couple of Khemri forces that we've taken out so far were at 3 armies, so I bet these guys are at 3 or maybe at most 4 armies right now. So we have a pretty good idea where the majority of their force is. Khemri has proper walls and 18 units guarding it, but I bet it's not as well developed as the Black Pyramid was. Like, we're not going to see two War Sphinxes or anything, probably. Can we actually see what buildings are in here? No, we cannot. Well, we'll be able to when we get close. So if we're going to go after Numas right now, probably what we want to do, first of all, Yarrick is not in perfect shape, and it would probably be best if we could avoid combat for a minute while this army recovers. I think what we want to do is run to Zandri, because it's entirely possible that when we declare war, these guys are going to try to cross to Zandri, and I would hate to lose it. It's not a big deal, obviously we would get it back, but remember, when it gets conquered, the main settlement building would devolve to level 2, and then when we reconquer it, it will get knocked down to level 1, just like what happened to Tiktaq'to, so I think that's the plan. Let's get over here and try to be in a defensive position. I know they are closer to Zandri than we are, but they also have to deal with this river delta. Movement is pretty slow through this land, so I think we can probably get in some kind of reinforcing position pretty quickly. And then, I don't know what we do exactly, if they do anything other than run to Zandri. You know, we'll figure it out. But let's definitely go ahead and start things off here. Making this attack is indeed a declaration of war. Who would have thought? So this is the whole of their territory, right? We'll take Khemri, and then honestly, if we could get peace with them, I wouldn't be opposed. Do we need to auto-resolve? I'm going to try the auto-resolve. I think this force is weak enough. It probably doesn't pose a big threat to us. Yeah, see, we wouldn't have taken anywhere near that amount of damage doing it manually, but we can replenish some of that off right here, and then, of course, we have a pretty good casualty replenishment on that army. Alright, and we're going to convert into march mode and immediately start back toward Khemri. Yeah, we don't actually need or probably even want the rest of their stuff. Let's see. Yeah, this is only important to the Tomb Kings. Only important to the Tomb Kings. So when you see one of these icons next to the building banner, or settlement banner, that means that there's some kind of special building that can be built here, but most of the special landmark buildings are limited to only one faction or only like one of a couple of factions. It's a little unusual for, like, the Black Pyramid has one that can just be built by anybody. There's no limitation on it. That's pretty rare. Speaking of, let's see what that is. The Vault of Nagash. Big wins of power reserve up for all of our armies. Improvements to the rank that heroes and lords are recruited at. Magic resistance for everybody. But it causes a tremendous amount of empire corruption in the region. Oh wow, also it costs 9,700 gold to build, and it will take 20 turns. That's cool. I don't know that we want to build that. I don't know if I think the benefit of that is worth the all the public order problems that we'd have because of the corruption. I guess it's not a concern for right now, either way. So I'm gonna, I think, maybe put up a basic garrison building here, just to try to keep this place a little bit safe from Numas until we solve the Numas problem. And then what else do we want to do? Zandri doesn't have proper walls. Get working on that, probably. We're going to have a lot of problems. Zandri is going to be vulnerable for a long time. It's going to need walls probably permanently. And then we have 3,200 more gold to work with. Is there anywhere over here? Like, I would love to get all of this stuff all built up so that I don't have to worry about it. Do we want to put a garrison building up here? Yeah, probably. Again, at some point the Skaven on the Western continent are going to realize we're over here. And when they do, I would like to already have all of my defenses in place. Okay, so we see Dark Elves. Who is in control of this area, I'm wondering? Because there was a Lizardmen faction over here, and we know that they don't exist anymore. Oh wow, the Dark Elves have expanded really far south. The Norskins of Skeggi are somehow still in control of Skeggi. This settlement usually falls pretty early in the game. I'm surprised to see them still alive. And over here, I would like to get a view of whatever settlements are still down here. We're like all the way in the corner of the world. The Cursed Jungle. Okay, so we have now seen everything over here. So the question of what to do with Roxburgh arises. I believe what happens if we choose to dismiss or disband this army is that Roxburgh will become unavailable for 5 turns, and then after those 5 turns, he will just appear in our territory. I do not know where he will appear, if he appears at the city that initially hired him, or if he appears at the city that is like closest to where he was disbanded. But that would be a fast and low effort way to get him back over into our territory so we could use him for other stuff. But I wonder if it might be better to just have him fly north, because there's a lot of orc and dwarf stuff happening in these mountains, and we might want to have a sense of it. And you know what? I'm just going to disband him. He can come back and he can explore from where we are. It would probably be more useful. All right. You know what? Sure. Let's build some more financial buildings. Do we have any place that's a little bit farther from the front where we have room for one? Also, we got to keep an eye on... Okay. In 7 turns, we will be population capped in this region, and we can remove the growth buildings or replace them with some other stuff. Is there any place that we don't yet have a financial building where we have a slot for one? Okay, it looks like no, it's going to have to be along the front. Alright, that's fine. Just keep that money rolling in. Alright, let's see how Numas responds to our treachery. So hopefully, like that, the battle result that we had there will give you some idea of why I try not to auto-resolve a lot. It should not be anywhere near possible for any of our units to take that much damage fighting an army that weak. Just extrapolate from there to what happens if you try to auto-resolve against an army that has units that could theoretically kill one of your units. And like at the beginning of our next turn here, those guys were so injured that they're not even going to be fully healed at the beginning of our next turn in an army that is like specialized for casualty replenishment. My impression is that the auto-resolver is tuned the way it is so that you will play more battles because they want you to play the battles. There's an old game design problem where players are driven to do the thing that is most effective, even if it is not fun. For various definitions of effective. And so you have to like try to mechanically incentivize players into playing the game in the way that is the most fun. And I think that's a little bit what they're doing here. They like the whole purpose of this game, the whole purpose of the strategy map stuff, honestly, is to lend strategic level weight to what happens in the battles. But they really, like, the battles, I think, are what they view as sort of the core of the game. So if we put all this work into making the battle system fun, let's make sure people are actually playing with the battle system. Because if you take Total War Warhammer on just the strategic level, it's nowhere near as interesting or satisfying as like other grand strategy games, I would say, or even like certainly not 4X's. It's very focused on that battle engine. Numas's army may get to Xandri first. I mean, like, if they capture Xandri and we recapture it and we have to rebuild it from nothing, it's not a big deal. Oh, Beastmen are spawning, okay, over there. Hopefully they can distract Numas a little bit. And the inhabitants of your empire tire of the constant threat of war on their doorstep. Due to the uncertainty conflict brings, growth has taken a sudden nosedive. In which province? This is not... Is that an empire-wide? Okay, that is an empire-wide debuff. Growth minus 10 in all provinces. That sucks. Okay, what exactly is this army? Alright, a bunch of terrible garbage. They do have some Tomb Guard. Tomb Guard are definitely better fighters. And they have some... they have some Ushabti, which we, I guess, have to worry about a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and expose Yarick to them. If they want to come at us out here in the desert, we will just handle that. I would rather they attack the army than the city. They will go after Xandri. Does Xandri... No, Xandri's walls will... Xandri's initial garrison building will not be finished in time. Oh well. So we can't attack Khemri this turn. Well, we may as well do just a normal move in case they do have an army somewhere in march range somehow, or maybe like right here but in ambush mode and we don't see them. I'd like to be not in march mode in case we get attacked, and we definitely have the movement to hit Khemri next turn. Let's sail inward. I want to see who's in control of the great lizardman city of Hexawatl. Not that we would necessarily come over here and get it, no matter who is in charge. Wow, this particular Tiranoc has really extended quite far off of Ulthuan. This is unusual. And then with 3,000 gold, what are we doing? What is up with 3,000 gold? Well, we could start upgrading our geomantic spires. That might be worth doing. Probably it's a better... Yeah, we get better value for our money by just upgrading low-level monetary buildings. And then with only 1,500 gold left, okay, we do have another one. So yeah, my prediction here, Numas takes Xandri. We'll do what we can. We'll damage them as much as we can in defense. And then we crush that army, and then presumably Numas has like one more army somewhere. I mean, I'm sure they're already rebuilding the army that we destroyed, but it's going to take them too long to put it together for it to be of any use, stopping us getting to Khemri or anything. And once we have control of this province, we'll look into our options. It's possible that the right thing to do is to just finish them off completely, although I believe they're not in 100% control of the province that their other settlements are in. And you know how I like to take whole provinces. His commandments are very powerful. I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes you declare war on an enemy and you do stuff to them, and they just are not. They're never cool with you again. They will not rest until you are exterminated. In my experience, though, if you can get a Tomb King to back down, obviously they remember that you declared war on them and that you did stuff to them, and you'll take a negative diplomatic modifier for that. But as you continue to expand, the positive great power modifier will overwhelm it. Eventually you'll be so big and impressive that they'll be like, okay, well, you picked on me and you killed tons of my citizens, but what could I expect? You're so great and powerful. Seems a little crazy to me, but then I'm not a skeleton with my brain in a jar, so who knows. He just went into ambush mode right there, like I didn't see that happen. Alright, well, we'll go to Xandri like this to avoid falling into that ambush. I don't think we're in any particular danger from him. I mean, I like that he's attempting tactics, though. So at the beginning of our turn, we'll get a roll to reveal him. It's possible that he'll just be made visible to us. And if he is, then we almost certainly just attack, right? This army actually has salamanders and stuff now. We should be pretty good at dealing with the Ushabti. At some point here, we're going to want to recruit a third army. I think probably where I'd like to end up is with a third army, 2 of our armies going into the southern Badlands to fight orcs, and the other army heading north to try to claim the stuff up north that we have to own. Like, in theory, we don't have to personally own Sartosa, right? We could just... Aha, we have discovered his ambush. We could just become allied with whoever owns it, but we're never going to get allied with these guys. So... It does have a pretty big garrison, but with there not being an actual army in place, we could just siege it out. Yeah, I think that's where I'd like to end up. 2 armies fighting orcs, 1 army heading north to do north stuff. Probably 1 army heading north is a pretty good place for Lord Croak to be. Alright, Roxburgh gets to become immortal. He is a legendary hero at this point. Okay, so their garrison, they do have a Necrosphinx. They also have a couple of catapults, an unusual number of archers, no really weak melee units at all. All of their melee units are actually decent. 3 units of... Man, this is a good army. We're still definitely going to beat them, but as far as Khemri compositions go, that's a pretty solid one. So if we take out their other army, and we've removed their big 10-slot city from them, they're probably going to be feeling pretty weak. We might be able to negotiate peace. I sure hope we'll be able to negotiate peace. So these skeleton archers are still, like, they're still the bad skeleton archers. I don't believe the Khemri ever get access to better ones. These are still the tier 1 archers, so I'm not too worried about them. 5 units is enough to do some damage if we let them focus, but we'll just be a little bit better with the rocks this time. Let's do that thing we usually do where all of the flyers go on one side and everybody else on the other. I don't exactly know what the Ripperdactyls are going to do here. I mean, the Ripperdactyls could definitely descend on guys on the wall as long as there's no, like, tomb guard around. We can find some lone archers. We could put the Ripperdactyls on that. It looks like we're probably able to get up on this high ground here. We might be able to pull people inside tower range. I think that might be the plan. Everybody except the Carnosaur, of course. Yeah, let's see if we can find a safe place to hide until the flyers have done their dark bidding. You can see if you start to get too close to a wall, the formation tool freaks out. It's like, oh, you want those guys over there in front of the wall, right? We'll draw up here, and then we'll tighten up formation as we have to. They aren't even actually taking control of this tower, which is interesting. So do we want to charge the Carnosaur in? I think so. We can get close enough to the wall that the archers won't be able to shoot us anymore. You can just hang out right there, and we'll figure out that gate stuff later. I'm a little worried about the Necrosphinx. I believe the Necrosphinx is the type of Sphinx that's good against large units, too. Yeah. Armor-piercing, anti-large, causes terror. Definitely something to be worried about. Okay, at the very least, everybody get in there. So who is... I guess we'll do actual rock drops, because we got to get control of the archers pretty quickly here. Let's just make sure everybody's got reasonable orders. I don't know any way to command a unit to attack a specific enemy unit while still moving. I think while they're moving, they shoot at whoever they want to shoot at, and you just got to deal. We'll make these guys the priority for most of the flying units on this side. We'll do rock drops over here to deal with these guys quickly, and then we got to figure out how we want to fight those guys. Actually, that's a really good Ripperdactyl situation because they have not put any good melee fighters up on those walls. That attack arrow is not drawing to exactly where I would have thought. That's weird. Well, I'm going to trust that he actually received that attack order correctly. Tiktaq'to actually can be doing the same thing. And our skink chief... Guess we just go after their tomb prince? Once we deal with... Actually, Maybe we should focus fewer people on these archers, because we do have to get rid of those catapults. Let's get through the wall, deal with the archers a little bit first. Okay, we'll have the priest come through and drop lightning on them. That's what that spell is for, right? Okay, that's a good start. You can get your rock throw off real quick here as you pass. Well, not while they're moving around. Hold on, I'll aim that shot in a moment. So do we need to... We probably do not need to do another rock drop on these guys. Let's grab the next unit with their rocks and head this way. Yeah, an awful lot of people awfully grouped up over here. I don't know why ground troops are responding and running this way. They can see that we don't have any ground units over here. I'm going to drop one group of rocks on these archers. Okay. So remember, once morale is broken for an undead unit, the undead unit starts taking a lot of damage. Okay, so first of all, I should have hit this right away at the beginning of the battle. This puts more power into the power bar, which then slowly drains into your actual pool. This has no cost, and we can do it every 90 seconds. So in theory, an army that has anybody in it who has Arcane Conduit has infinite spellcasting power, but the rate of spellcast slows down pretty badly. This is good against... It says it's good against artillery pieces. I guess I'm going to try to destroy the actual catapults instead of shooting at the crew. Let's see how that works. I think I'm also going to drop a manticore right here. Attempt to interfere a little bit. Did that destroy the catapult? It actually does seem to have destroyed the catapult. Yeah, by the way, this is what their catapults shoot. Giant screaming skulls. You know, I mean, it's right there in the name. So, obviously, it's pretty important that we deal with that on account of our troops are a little bit grouped up over here. I'm a little surprised that they didn't take control of all the towers. We can spread out a little bit and make the catapults less effective. We need to deal with these archers a little bit, though. I'm gonna have Tiktaq'to get back up in the air for a moment. Come on. We get these rock drops into the healthy units of guys here. And the ones who are working the walls can go in to work these dudes instead. Yep. Archers on the walls are dealt with. It's a nice thing about the... Okay, so a couple more people working there. The nice thing about the Manticore is that we don't have to care at all what happens to it. So we'll absolutely just let the Ushabti run over there and murder it if they want, or whatever. And yeah, I'm not too worried about their melee troops, honestly. Mostly what we're doing here is we're just trying to clear the ranged units. Right, you did throw your rock. Here, we can do a little rock dropping on these guys. Actually, the Manticore is doing a great job of holding dudes in place to get really rock dropped. Oh no, it has rampaged. Whatever shall we do? This is going to be pretty good if we can actually get all of the guys over here to do it. Alright, so we set off their... Huh, wait a minute. It is showing me that the summoned Ushabti, they tried to summon them on the walls to fight Tiktaq'to, but you actually can't do that. So they've just summoned their unit of free Ushabti inside the walls. Well, that's not going to turn out to be very good for them. A little bit closer so that you're not getting shot at. We're almost clear here. We're almost done with them having any control over the walls. And they moved their Sphinx. Yeah, they moved their Sphinx all the way to this gate for some reason. So I suppose we could just bash this one open. I mean, it'll come back over. How is there still any... There's still a single catapult and like 2 skeletons who are willing to work it. Well, I mean, we're shooting at them as hard as we can. I certainly am not going to put any more effort into it than this. Here, you know what? I will use my other Thunderbolt to finish that off. There. They still have a siege crew, but they no longer have any siege weapons. Problem solved. So now we have to figure out, like, who is the next most important target for all of these flying units. It would be cool to kill off the Ushabti, I suppose. Let's have the normal Pterodon riders focus on the Ushabti. Fire Leech Bola guys, I really would love to have on, like, those dudes. The Halberd Tomb Guard, who are actually a little bit of a danger. I can't believe they're still technically in control of this tower. You guys gotta work a little bit faster here. Remember, we have all kinds of melee buffs now, that Helm of Discord that's on the hero and everything. Who has rocks left? Okay, you still have rocks. We can do a quick rock drop on these guys. Their lord's actually very close to dead, remarkably close to dead. Make sure we're hitting that on cooldown. I'm going to try to give him an Amber Spear. We might be able to just kill their lord, which would obviously help quite a bit. Oh wow, that very nearly did it. Is Roxburgh still shooting at him? Yeah. Wow, good work. So that's going to, first of all, remove the effect of their, leadership aura from that lord, but also, of course, they're now taking the leadership penalty for their lord having died. That leadership penalty is temporary. I believe it is, the text on it is actually lord died recently. So we have to work to take advantage of it quickly if we want to take advantage of it. Definitely going to have the Carnosaur just bounce here, because those are Tomb Guard with halberds. Actually, Tiktaq'to still has a rock left. Look at this cowardice. Also, yeah, look at the damage. So they're all going to gather around the Necrosphinx, which is a shame. I was kind of hoping we could figure out a way of doing this that didn't involve us necessarily having to actually fight the Necrosphinx. By the way, yeah, we never bashed the door down, they just opened it. Now we will have to go in here and finish knocking it down. I guess you start harassing the Necrosphinx? I don't know what else we would have you do. As soon as that thing stops moving around, I'm going to drop the last Thunderbolt on it as well. I think maybe that's why it's moving. It's trying to remain difficult to hit with these ground-targeted spells. If he dodges out, we still hit somebody with it, right? Okay, yeah, we blew up 2 guys. I'll take that. That's something. God, I love salamanders. That is so cool. I don't have any idea how they're doing that. I guess the guys on the Pterodon backs are like shouting to shouting them the locations. That's pretty good. I don't know what else we would do. Like, the other Manticore, I guess we'll drop the Manticore on them. Wow. That does a lot of damage. Yeah, we'll drop the Manticore on them when it looks like the fight has really been joined all the way. I guess everybody just run through here and have at those dudes. But honestly, it seems to be bad enough at fighting that it probably isn't going to do anything other than reduce their morale. At this point, though, reducing their morale is valuable. Actually, you know what? Red-crested skinks do not run in there and just engage. Hey guys, get over here. We're going to let the Sauruses be the people who run into the enemies. Like, especially, we have a unit of Ushabti over here. Both of our Saurus units are unusually good at fighting large enemies. I'm just going to go straight for these dudes. And we're going to, unfortunately, take a little bit of fire from the salamanders. Maybe they could chill out on that. Are you guys gonna do the thing I said? There we go. They figured it out eventually. This is kind of sad for these poor dudes. They're giving their unlife to defend the city, and all of the actual troops are just kind of sitting over here waiting for them to die. Jesus, did you see that? One of those temple guard did like a sweet heroic leap into battle, and then Ushabti just kicked him 100 feet back in the other direction. Alright, well, I'm definitely going to keep this up. I did not realize that the Amber Spear was going to be so effective when we were selecting our spells. Oh, apparently it still can miss, even when they're stationary. Yeah, I had never used this School of Beasts before. Turns out to be pretty great. Okay, so that's under control. You guys can come over here and spend the last of your ammunition fighting, I don't know, those dudes. Anybody still have rocks left? We can do some rock dropping over here. Not that it matters much at this point. The general rule with spear units is, of course, they are better at fighting large units. They also have... These guys have a single rock. Oops, did I... Sorry, I clicked attack without thinking. We're totally out of ammo here. That was not ideal. Try to get out of there if you can. Yeah, they'll be alright. We're going to lose some of them, but we're going to end our turn in this settlement, so... We just will replenish. Okay, they're I think, properly broken. It's remarkable how many casualties these armies can sustain before they actually break. Okay, no, don't fight him anymore. You just back up. 96 losses, a considerable percentage of which were right there at the end, when I foolishly ordered an out-of-ammunition unit to attack. Probably, the way that should work is you should have to manually switch ranged units into melee mode before they will take an attack as a melee order. Because, like, there are very few situations where I would want an out-of-ammunition Pterodon unit to actually get into melee. Basically, like, a weapons team or something would be their only target. Or you could just not do the stupid thing. Yeah, I guess I could just not do the stupid thing. Should it be on me to protect myself from my own stupidity? If I could do that, I wouldn't be stupid. So yeah, what do you think about that? Checkmate. Alright, that's right. We're gonna sack it first, just to fulfill that quest. I mean, we are also talking about a huge amount of money. We've unlocked an ancient Stegodon Regiment of Renown and some blessed Saurus warriors. I'm not, like, super wild about Saurus warriors. They're okay. They certainly won't die randomly in combat. We're going to get all of those red box skills at some point. Okay, so if we... all this does is lower the cost of bringing in the Manticore, which doesn't seem great. Let's go back and look at some of these other spells. So we haven't picked up any points in Flock of Doom. Strong versus multiple combatants. High chance the opponent will resist. Weak versus a single combatant. And when overcast, it lasts longer and happens over a larger area. And this gives movement speed and physical resistance to a unit. Well, I could see some situations where we want to be able to have Saurus warriors chase somebody down. But I think let's get Flock of Doom first. I think this is going to be a little bit more broadly useful. Okay. Sack, then occupy. Which means that the buildings are all wrecked up and stuff, but... you know, for good reason. We had a reason for the thing we did there. Now we control this province, which is lovely. Apparently we're going to have to get a lot of growth here. I'm surprised at how low level the main settlement was. The fact that we see it as a ruined level 2 settlement means it was level 3 when we attacked. But, like, how? How was it only level 3? We're probably going to want to pull out a lot of these buildings because we want to build a lot of recruitment structures here. Let's build these walls up. I do want a skink recruitment building in this province, but I want it in Khemri, so that we can actually get the tier 4 thing going. Okay. I'm gonna, I think, fire this skink cohort and pull in some of our new units. Actually, we could drop both of these skink cohorts. I know they're high level, and it always sucks to drop high level units. But we do have some Blessed Saurus warriors who might be a better fit for the situation. If we give up these guys and the skirmishers, then this army doesn't have any poison anymore. And I do like to have a little bit of ability to distribute poison, but also, of course, high tier units, or high experience units are nice. Yeah, still, I think these units are so weak on the whole that, like, probably worth just dropping them. Let's have a look at this Thunderous one. Okay, well, he has poison. What exactly is that? Judgment of Uxmak. Recharges while engaged in melee. Enemies hit by lightning strikes in melee combat. Causes minor magical damage. Strong versus multiple combatants. It has 10 charges. Okay, that's interesting. And I mean, he just does like a crazy amount of damage. We have not seen an Ancient Stegodon before. Oh hey, we did this. So we've got our War Beast focus for 8 turns. I don't know that we're going to be recruiting a lot of War Beasts in the next 8 turns. But I guess we have this buff if we need it. And let's grab a couple of these guys for this army. I do still like the red-crested skinks. I think they're very effective. They seem to be very effective killing units. Alright, and with that, let's get in here and crush these dudes. We should be able to auto-resolve here. These units are a little bit more capable. If I auto-resolve here, it's probably going to kill my red-crested skinks, and they're so close to gold chevrons. Yeah, alright, let's just do it manually. It's going to be a little tougher. We get to see the Ancient Stegodon in action. That's probably worth doing. Alright, what do you think? Take bets now. How much bigger is he going to be than the other Stegodon in this army? I'm going to say 50%. 50% more Stegodon by volume. I feel like this would be the Warhammer universe would be a place where like dinosaurs just never stop growing. The older they are, the bigger they are. That's sort of a thing with big lizardy fantasy monsters. Alright, where is he? You know, he's not actually bigger, I don't think. No, okay, he's a little bigger. Wow. Well, synchronized. How long do you think they spent practicing that? Alright, this is a fine Winds of Magic pool. That's right, we do have Lord Croak here. We're certainly going to do some croaking. Alright, they have a couple units of archers, just 2. The Ancient Stegodon is not a siege weapon. His range is not nearly as impressive. I guess let's have... oh, well, we should spread out the salamanders again because of Summon Dushabti. We're probably not going to get as lucky this time as we did in that last battle. Keep the skinks nearby. I have no idea where they're going to summon their Dushabti, but I think if we keep everybody sort of loosely together like this, we'll be able to have whoever gets summoned on fall back and have the right people fall in behind quickly. It takes long enough to wind up the Lord Croak spell that we definitely have to be careful about it. It will be easiest to fire it off successfully once we have hit, once the melee lines have joined, but obviously we'll have to be pretty careful with it. Alright, let's just start going down the line, I guess. We can probably get that first Realm of Souls, or sorry, that all 3 rounds of Realm of Souls fired off pretty quickly, is my bet. You can see the effect is pretty short term. It's probably best that I not drop rocks during the heal. You wait till it's over. Alright, somebody ought to come over here and grab some of these guys. Alright, there we are. So the right play here is probably pull the skinks out and have a unit of Blessed Saurus Warriors engaged. They are so tough. And then 1 unit of Salamanders can turn around. Over here, this unit of Salamanders has already been charged, and I'm not paying enough attention. Engage with them. Ushabti are so much faster than everything else the Tomb Kings have. I'll have the Stegodon. I mean, I guess we got to care about the Tomb Guards with the Halberds most. Maybe this would be a good time for our first Deliverance. We just try to lead them enough. Does it? It does not say what the cast time on it is. I guess let's try to lead them. Let's see how successfully we can do that. It's 5 seconds. It might be too early. I'm not going to drop the rocks just yet because I don't want to disrupt their forward movement. But we'll hang out nearby. I just want to see what happens. Okay, yeah, too early. I think they intentionally slowed down to not get hit by it, which is going to bite them in the ass when the rocks fall. Okay, you can just work these Tomb Guards with halberds. Salamanders managed to pull out successfully because we actually have enough units involved here, enough bodies involved here to be a distraction for the enemy. And we may as well throw down our shield of the old ones, like maybe right there. Try to keep those guys safe, since we are intentionally firing explosives at them and everything. Let's have these units recalibrate a little bit to go fight people who are more important now that all the archers are dead. You 3, I don't know, shoot over here? Okay. We shouldn't see too much more melee combat involved here. The Tomb Kings with the halberds are still #1 priority. Until there are very few of them left, they are the thing we care about most. And these red-crested skinks really don't want to get out of there. You see the temple, or the Saurus Warriors are so tough that we can shoot salamander fire directly into them and it doesn't really harm them. Which is pretty neat. Okay, let's try not leading by quite so much. I'm going to put this right here. I'm curious if they will try to back out of it. Who still has rocks over here? Okay, you got some rocks. No, it looks like maybe they're content to just run forward into it. Maybe it was just a coincidence that they seemed to slow down at exactly the right moment last time. That is not bad. The cheap one costs 6, I believe, right? No, it costs 5. That's right, we lowered the cost very slightly. Alright, let's have him do that. The enemies are almost in engagement range. And we can probably just start having the salamanders shoot at other stuff. Okay, the Ushabti are dead. Boy, no, I know these units are still going to be alive by the time the sources actually get over here. I guess those dudes. Those dudes are likely to still be alive. Oh, wait a minute. I want to see Lord Croak's melee animations. His battle's over. His ghost comes out and, like, blows them up. That's pretty cool. Lord Croak is, like, pretty alright. Alright, who was it that had bombs? Okay, these 2 units right here. So you're not in... You're the units that I ordered in. You know what? You are in perfect position. Just go ahead and drop right there. You know, they're arcing over. They're trying not to hit the front line. I appreciate that. These guys... Who is even worth shooting, dropping these last set of rocks on? There's very few enemies left in most of these units. I guess over here would be the best place to do it. See if we can have these guys back up a little bit as the flyers come in. And try to get a rock barrage off with as few friendly casualties as possible. The explosions from all of the salamander fire should help a little bit. Alright, all that's left is their lord, who is exploding pretty effective. Yeah, sources are tough, man. Turns out they can endure a truly heroic amount of friendly fire. Which is the only kind they really have to be afraid of, I think. And you can see, like, these red-crested skinks were engaged in combat for less time than the sources were, because the sources were also helping to hold off the Ushabti, but they still have more kills. They're much, much better fighters. But, like, the Source Warriors have shields, so they have that defense against enemy ranged projectiles, in addition to extremely high armor, in addition to extremely high health. Much better at, like, pushing a group of enemy archers than the red-crested skinks are, who they would just get torn to pieces. Yeah, let's go ahead and take the kill lead here. It says right there, a feast of flesh aids recovery, but it doesn't seem like there would be a lot. Okay, we definitely are primarily concerned with blue line on this guy now, because we have another use for all of our winds of magic. You know what? You might be around friendly provinces a little bit more. Okay, so thanks to that Feast of Flesh, we don't really need to stick around our friendly territory anymore. Like, we're gonna heal up naturally. So what do I want to do with these guys? We're probably not ready to push Gorgazon just yet. Like, I don't know that I want to be engaged in a two-front war. I guess we could just have them move east. The other thing I could do is have them go north. Do I feel comfortable leaving Tiktaq'to by himself on this front? Because we don't necessarily have to open up another whole war. We could just take Sartosa, and that wipes that faction out of the game. Is that still true? Are they still only in control of the one province, or the one settlement? Where the hell are all the pirates? Yes, they are. You know what? I think that's what we're going to do. And on the way out there, they can hit some of these mysterious islands and stuff. Some fell cargo. While your crew search a wreck, the deck heaves and water bursts through the rotting hole. What is left of the ship begins to sink, taking its cargo with it. Your crew only have time to salvage a few crates before the ocean claims it. Let's go for some castle forged steel. I'm under the impression that we don't use a lot of steel weapons. This could be a real upgrade for us. So 1,500 gold, and... Okay, that's a pretty serious buff for this army. 10 turns? Yeah, we're going to Sartosa. Maybe this is me being a little bit too sure of myself, a little bit overconfident. I haven't seen lizardmen boats before. That's pretty cool. It has a look like an Aztec aircraft carrier. So we'll grab this and then we'll land... Well, I don't know if we'll land on Sartosa. We'll certainly go far enough north to see if there's an army sitting in that settlement, and if there isn't, we may do some stuff. We did pick up some followers. Sure, man spawn sacrifice, why not? Okay, no other followers that can be equipped on you. What about you? If I was willing to drop, say, this pretty unimpressive standard, we could get a different standard, or, yeah, casualty replenishment rate. That's what I was looking for. So you can see there, that's something that we can only equip on lords. Good idea to make sure each of our lords has one. And next turn, Alhaik is upgraded to tier 4, right? Yeah, so we're definitely going to want to spend a lot of money there all of a sudden. Do I want to... I probably want to max out Phyrus, though. So let's have a chat with Numas and see how they feel about their situation. If perhaps they might be willing to see the wisdom of peace. Where are Skeleton Mans? Did I pass them? Here we go. Okay. They have 2 settlements left. Obviously not a big fan of some of the moves we've made here. Okay. I feel like Tiktaq'to is probably capable of just pushing east and handling them by himself. Hexawaddle is over here somewhere. I think it's inland a little bit, yeah. Okay, it looks empty, which is to say that it is definitely Skaven. Because I know that there's a Skaven faction over here. We had some trouble with them in our Vampire Coast campaign. Keep picking up that money making. We're getting closer and closer to being able to run a third army. And keep in mind, Yarick is getting right up to the skill points that are going to lower his upkeep. This is going to be a big deal. Alright, let's end the turn and start the next turn with... Okay, we have 5 turns until this is available. We could do a Rite of Primeval Glory, I guess. I don't know that we want to. I think the cost of the dinosaur army is going to be pretty significant. Like, the upkeep cost, we're not going to be making any money anymore. Probably we'd actually go negative. I think 3,300, like, I think even the armies we're running now are close to that much upkeep. Those are armies that have some number of low-tier units in them, and Tiktaq'to's army, in addition, has a whole bunch of upkeep reductions. So yeah, as much fun as it would be to summon a huge stack of dinosaurs, it would probably wipe us out pretty badly. And we have so many very important infrastructure upgrades to make. You know how people value infrastructure over flashy things that they can easily quantify? So once Numas is done, we are really looking at orcs as our next enemy. I'm not sure how we're going to fare against orcs. I think we definitely want to beef up the number of Sauruses we're running, because the basic orc infantry units are actually pretty tough. They probably will survive combat with the skinks well enough to kill the relatively fragile skinks. So we want to go at them just sort of like beef against beef. I think a Saurus warrior is tougher than an orc boy. I think we should be able to just stand toe-to-toe and hold them in place. Yep, look at that, Skaven. And then drop stuff on them from the skies. They really don't have a lot of options as far as flying units go. I'm not sure if they have any. I think at least some of their lords... I think maybe... one of their lords is like undead. Ozhag the Slaughterer. I think Ozhag the Slaughterer might get a dragon. But that might be it as far as flying units for them. So we might be able to really dominate them with all the rock dropping. And I say I was excited about the Ripperdactyls, but this seems like a crazy thing for Astalia to do. I was excited about the Ripperdactyls, but the more I think about it, the more I think we don't need melee units that fly nearly as badly, especially since they don't get rocks. Like, they're really good against archers. They're probably really great against artillery crew if you can actually get the Ripperdactyls over to the artillery crew in one piece. But all the stuff that you might use them for, you can also just use a volley of rock drops for, and then the Pterodon Riders have the advantage of being able to shoot at the enemies from total safety. I guess Ripperdactyls will be more important against enemies that have flying units of their own. Because Pterodon Riders are not much in an actual melee combat fight. If they get grabbed by something that can actually punch them in the sky, they probably all just die. The raging sea god Stromfels has gone missing, perhaps blown too far south by the arcane tempest that is consuming the world. With his absence, the great ocean is becalmed. The denizens of this world sense an opportunity. It is now no longer for the elves to dominate the seas alone. Other powers seek to ply the oceans, hunt for treasures, and expand their empires abroad. However, they must not mistake a calm sea for a safe one. There are still countless dangers lurking in the deeps. I don't know what a major port is, but did we suddenly become aware of a lot of other people? I think this list doesn't look that different. I think we became aware of all of the little elf factions, because I don't think we knew about Kalidor before, did we? Yeah, whatever. That doesn't change things too much for us. Okay, so King Nectanibo is pushing Zandri. Zandri does have a slightly expanded garrison now, but I'm wondering if we maybe have to route Yarek back. You know what? Let's grab this, and then we'll turn around. I think we have enough movement at full sail to get back here. Oh, right. Some points of interest in the sea cannot be explored while you are in full sail. While on an ocean crossing, an island inexplicably rises out of the sea before you. As your fleet approaches, the crew hear an eerie but ensnaring song that carries over the turbulent surf. A tune that promises much, with lyrics singing of everything from the untold riches of Greasus Goldtooth to some of Nagash's secrets of undeath. The verses foretell the attainment of great power and wealth. All you must do is order your vessel closer to shore. It is what the Sirens want. Alright, well, if we explore the island, we'll probably have to fight somebody, but I love great hoards of treasure. The lure of the Sirens' songs promise much. Their pull is irresistible. Okay, this is a little something different. We gotta fight some vampire coast dudes. Mary Sinkswell. That's an inauspicious name. Probably she earned it. Okay, we've not had to fight any vampire coast dudes yet. So these guys have actual gunpowder, which is going to be a little tricky for us. But remember, shields do protect against small arms fire. So the Saurus warriors, I think, actually should be pretty good at charging. They don't have any rifles or anything. They have these guys with their little cannons, then a couple of dudes with pistols. There's some zombies with pole arms. These are the ones we have to watch out for. Depth Guard are actually really good fighters, and I believe they have regeneration. We could do better than that. Lord Croak would like a little bit more in the pool to begin with, please. Okay, well, I did ask for a little bit more. We will have to be careful with the flyers. As you can see, these zombie gunnery units, these guys with the pistols are not great shots. As you might imagine from looking at how they stand, or attempt to, their manual dexterity, not so good. But there's 160 of them in each unit, and the pistols are pretty fast firing. So we're talking about a lot of projectiles hitting the sky. We're actually going to have to be a little bit careful about how we do this. The good news is, I don't think they have anything that should be able to fight a dinosaur, like, at all. So, let's get our dinosaurs with their long-range attacks in position. We'll have these guys just wait right behind them. Yeah, it is a little bit of a shame that Lord Croak is probably not going to get to cast too many spells this time. So, if we group up all of the flying units on one side and just try to bomb out the units of gunners on that side, maybe we could avoid taking too much damage here. And that's going to be the plan. Alright, so everybody, like half of you go after those guys, half of you go after these guys. Another thing that is nice about these basic zombie gunnery mobs is that they have very poor hit points, no armor at all. They're just extremely easy to kill. So we should see rock drops and explosive fire leeches do an awful lot of damage here. Just make sure we shorten their numbers quickly. Oh, jeez. Holy crap. I mean, I knew that it was going to be a lot of damage, but that is more than I was expecting. Faster than I was expecting. I think it's the primary concern there. So these guys are undead, just like the Tomb Kings, which means that when their leadership bar empties, they don't run, they start crumbling instead. That can actually be a little bit more dangerous sometimes, and I think it's worse for us. Because I would love it if these guys just broke and ran, they'd stop shooting. While they're crumbling, they will continue to deal damage. I'm going to have one more unit do a bomb drop on the hand cannon guys, because it was the hand cannon unit that really did the damage. Let's just be done with them quickly. Actually, never mind. That's not necessary. Alright, let's have... like, you guys, what I want to do is get behind these hand cannon dudes and finish the job. You can focus on them instead of the pistols. You guys can focus on the pistols. It's way more important to kill the hand cannons, apparently. The good news is the hand cannons have a limited arc of fire, and they do have to, like, plant their feet and aim in order to get us. So if we approach them like this, I think we can probably... oh, they're turning around. All we gotta do is get that first wave of rocks down. Never mind. All we gotta do is get several waves of rocks down. Okay, I think we're under control here. All of you guys go after them, and we still have rocks over here. Yeah, the pistols are not nearly as dangerous. They're still damaging, but not as bad. And it's kind of remarkable how many of their melee troops are standing back to be near our flyers instead of, like, just continuing to push forward. Maybe they're afraid to spread out too much. I'm gonna kind of spread out and see if we can... there we go. Fan out right before we get in rock range. Okay, and now that those dudes are all dead... because we do have to actually finish the pistols off. You lot can start working on those depth guard. And the axe death guard just ran bravely forward. And you can see how that turned out for them. Maybe the rest of the army was right to stay back. They seem uncertain. Well, should we keep running? Because it seems to not be working. It's like the worst possible thing you can do is become uncertain in the great field of fire. I think Depth Guard are really cool looking. They're actually pretty good fighters. The Polearm Depth Guard in particular are really great fighters. It's a shame that the AI is using them, or maybe more accurately, not using them in the way that they are. But I think this is just about over. Who has rocks left? Let's get forward and drop some rocks on the units that are kind of close to the army. In this case, I think we're just going to let their lord be the last one alive. Yeah, against Vampire Coast, a flying heavy Lizardman strategy is definitely a little trickier to pull off. Because they have so many units that are so dense with very low health, very low armor figures, the rocks and the Fire Leech Bolas are really effective, but their gunpowder units pose an actual threat. And I think a unit of rifles, one of the basic gunnery rifleman mobs, would actually be a huge danger to flyers, because they're effective at a much greater range, and they're quite a bit more accurate than the pistols. Alright. I think that's probably got them formally... Yeah, there we go. Properly broken. And their lord is just gonna fall apart out here slowly. You know, you gotta give her this. She is firing her tiny little pistol at our pterodons. She's probably killed a couple of them, too. Yeah, she got that guy. It was remarkably ineffective. Okay, everybody. Everybody come get her. She's crumbling, but she's not crumbling quickly. She's not taking that much damage, either. Did she shoot down 2 guys with the same bullet? Jesus. Okay, you know what? Maybe I'll just want to disengage. Let's let the let's let the ground units handle it. Okay, now she's falling apart. Jesus. Well, I clearly underestimated Mary Sinkswell. She killed 9 pterodons by herself with that tiny little pistol. She's responsible for more than half of our total losses. And with the amount of health that we saw our units lose as that hand cannon barrage went off, I'm surprised that they only got 2 kills. The damage must have been very evenly spread over all of the things they were hitting. But you could see how, like, even without them using their other units, just like a bunch of hand cannons, they had 3 or 4 more units of these, they could have actually done some real damage to our Air Force. And they eventually get access to units that are riding giant zombie crabs. So they're big and heavily armored and really tough, and they have these hand cannon guys on the backs of the crabs. Yeah, we probably ought to just refill here. It's remarkable how good we are at recovering from combat. Alright, 5,000 XP, 1,500 bonus or 5,000 gold, 1,500 bonus XP for everyone in the army, I think. That's like a pretty okay reward. Well, it took us so much movement to actually claim that I think I'm just going to stick to the plan, maybe? I don't know, do we want Tiktaq'to to turn around, or do we want him to push forward and try to finish off their stuff? Zandri has a garrison of 13 units. It does not have any walls. They'll just run right in, but we have Saurus spears. Like, these are okay units. Ooh, they have some actual good stuff here. We'll probably lose Zandri if I don't come back. And I think he can attack it this turn. He can definitely attack it this turn. Alright, I think I'm gonna pull Yarrick back. We're gonna keep pushing eastward with Tiktaq'to. Ah well, we'll just have to reclaim Zandri. It's not a big deal. Henry doesn't have an expanded garrison building. So who knows? Maybe he'll move this way when we leave it. I don't know if he'll have any way of knowing that we left it. And Tiktaq'to is extremely fast. We can be in a position to threaten Numas next turn. Okay, so they do have... This is the stack that they've been building up since we destroyed the first one. And also, here's that Beastman stack, just standing here raiding and making their lives miserable. Actually, really well timed. Although I'll be very annoyed if they turn around and decide to fight us just because we happen to be nearby. So we have 24,000 gold to play with. What do we want to do here? One thing I could do to try to defend Zandri is summon in a new lord and have him grab the 2 Saurus warriors that are in the blessed spawning pool. I don't really want to do that if I think that we wouldn't be able to defend Zandri even with that, because obviously we don't want to just lose the blessed spawning guys. But I wonder if it might be enough to hold them off. Because their army's mostly pretty bad. It's just the Ushabti that we really have to worry about. This garrison doesn't really have a good solution to Great Bow Ushabti, though. And I believe the Great Bow guys are actually just as good at melee as... Okay, they're not quite as good. They have 1 point fewer melee attack and 1 point fewer melee defense. But they're very close to as good at combat, as the normal Ushabti. If we had anything else in the Regiment of Renown pool that we could instantly summon up, that would be helpful. But if we were to hire another lord here, have him jump inside Xandri and start recruiting, none of the stuff that he recruits that takes even a single turn will actually finish. I think we probably just have to wait for Yarrick. We have to lose Xandri and then have Yarrick show up and punish them. We will be able to do a lot of damage to that army. Okay, so with 24,000 gold, one more turn on El Haik. Do we want to do any stuff in here? I kind of want to save money because the buildings we're going to build in El Haik are going to be expensive. Yeah, let's hold off for a turn. Let's see exactly what happens. I'm hoping they will be drawn back toward Khemri. So I have total faith that Tiktaq'to is going to be able to take Numos and then that other little settlement to the east. I know it has built up walls. We saw the walls, but it's a small settlement, so even with the walls building, it's only going to have like 13 or 14 units in its garrison, and they're going to have no armies left to defend it. High Queen Khalida would like a military alliance. That's interesting. She's at war with that little faction of lizardmen that we're probably going to have to take by force. A unit of... a force of... Skaven. Man, words. That we think are right here. The Arachnos orcs in the middle. And that legion of vampires to our north. I think I'm going to say no. Military alliances are tricky. If we sign the military alliance with her, whenever she declares war on someone, we will be forced to declare war on them, and vice versa. Which I don't care for. Because as soon as you make a military alliance with an AI, they start picking fights with people who are a lot bigger than them and expecting you to come in and save them. I might be willing to do a defensive alliance, where we must come to her aid if someone declares war on her, but we don't have to follow her into wars that she starts. But a military alliance, I think, would be pretty unwise. I am all about having friends. But military alliance is a couple of steps too far. So yeah, if we actually do, we take this territory, and that gives us access to the mountains. Maybe we take over this mountain region, and that would allow us to establish direct trade with her. That would be pretty cool. We're going to have to take all of this stuff over here by force, so we kind of need to take the mountains anyway. I assume people are not going to let us just walk through. Oh, interesting. He didn't attack Xandri or fall back to attack Khemri. He's just going to stand outside of Xandri and raid. Well, that works just fine for us. It's actually kind of a best-case scenario. He is definitely too far away to attack Khemri on his next turn, and we have Xandri defended now. Yeah, this is just like a phenomenal screw-up. Okay, there's war happening over there. Orcs are going to war with Norskins and stuff. I don't really care about all that. The Sentinels of Zeti are definitely a Lizardman faction. It's possible that we could wait until they look very weak, and then we could offer to save them via Confederation. And that could be how we establish a foothold over on this continent, but what if we didn't? What if we didn't establish a foothold over on that continent? What if, in fact, we never set a foot on that continent at all? Doesn't that sound lovely? By the way, we're definitely going to have to kill these guys if the orcs don't do it first. Okay, but they're going raiding into orc lands. That bodes well for us. The orcs may well handle them. Alright, so this war with Numos is going to, I think, complete pretty quickly. Recruit a lord in the next 6 turns to get the Raise the Banners. You know, we actually might recruit a lord, run this right, and then build up that third army with all of the units having a bunch of bonus ranks at the beginning. That could be very helpful. But what I was saying is, we're going to get this thing done, right? Obviously. And then I think from there, I'm hoping that we're going to see a more diverse set of enemies. It does get a little bit tedious fighting the same guys over and over again, but we're going to have orcs to fight, we're going to have more undead to fight, there's Skaven and men and elves up here, all of whom are going to have to come to know the wisdom of the Great Plan. We're out of time to show it to them today, but come back next time, tomorrow, for that thing I just said, the expansion of the Great Plan, and we'll see you then.